Hello and welcome to another Happy Pod, the only podcast in the world. My name is Nathan. As always, I'm joined by Lawrence Thomas James, middle name High C.
What was the giggle? What was the cheeky giggle for?
I just made myself laugh because whilst the intro was playing, I pointed to you as if to say, you do the intro this week, which occasionally I'll do. And then I just went, no, I'll do it instead. And I just found that
At
funny.
the last second, he pointed back at himself. So I was thinking, what am I going to say? I was stressed. But what I will say is what the show is, and that no one cares about all of that.
Yeah.
See what I did there? That was good. And this show is about... Do you know what? I've let myself down there because I was really excited about how smoothly I transitioned that I panicked about how I was going to transition from praising my own praise.
Lawrence, you've massively fucked this up. You've ruined a canon event.
Oh no! That is what a canon event is. It's you telling me to shut up as soon as I start speaking immediately on the pod.
It is, yeah. Now Miguel's coming for you.
Well, let's rectify it. Nathan, how was your day today?
Oh, so we're just not saying what the show is?
No, Nathan, I'm saying let's rectify the canon event.
Oh, I see. Okay. Wait, no, I would have to ask you.
Oh, yes. All right, go on then. You do that.
Idiot.
Miguel is coming, Nathan. We haven't got long.
Lawrence, how was your day?
Yeah, it's good,
Nobody
Nathan.
cares. Nobody cares, Lawrence, because you need to tell us what this show is all about.
This is the show where we get together, we talk about all things pop culture, movies, TV shows, games sometimes, and we avoid some negative Nelly discourse, and we try and talk about all the stuff that we like, and we have a bloody good time. Don't we, Nathan?
I don't think we've had a single episode on a video game this year. And I hope by the end of the year, we will have had at least 2 of them.
Okay. Do you want to get them in early? What would you like to do?
Well, surely you can figure it out.
Well, I know Jedi Survivor's on the list.
Yeah, and then one's related to this episode.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the starring roles in this film.
Exactly.
How are you, Nathan? We're finally getting to do Across the Spider-Verse.
A movie which seemingly the etiquette of spoilers has just gone completely out the window for. There was no even a scrap of just let's wait. It was just as soon as this movie came out, it was like, oh, let's talk about everything.
Did the Americans get it first?
I don't know.
Because that's normally how it goes. They just get it first and then they just flood Twitter. I don't give England a lot of praise, but I feel like we've got a bit more of an etiquette for it. Whereas the Americans will log on and they'll be like, whoa!
Yeah.
They scream in movie theaters. They don't know how to conduct
That's
themselves
true.
properly.
I've seen a lot of clips on TikTok and stuff. Just people filming in the theater, which I guess is something people do now. But going to see this movie, and then at certain moments when characters show, everyone just screams something like, oh, why? This doesn't need to be a thing. We don't need to have, and I'll tell you why this doesn't need to be a thing, because if this does become normalized, then we're going to have the fucking awkward No Way Home moment where Andrew Garfield jumps through the portal and there's just 10 seconds of him just breathing. So there's room for audience cheers.
Have you seen those edits where people take a Friends episode and they take the laugh track out and it's just haunting?
Exactly. So it's always so weird watching No Way Home, just on my own now, because there's just that awkward silence.
It is strange. I hope that doesn't come over here. That is the one thing. British people are known for being gobby, but they're also kind of quiet when it comes to it.
We are the epitome of, that's none of my business. I'll just carry on and deal with my stuff.
And so you should. I don't want to know that someone's excited that Spider-Man PS4 showed up in the movie.
That's one of the things that people cheered for. I'm like, come on, man.
He was in the trailer, bro.
He was in the first one as well. Well, the suit was anyway, but
yeah.
Come on, man.
Fucking silly business, yeah. So you broke your rule. You broke your movie experience rule.
I did twice actually. I went, well, I guess it was once because it was one trip. While I'm there, I might as well crack this out and just see as much as I can. So I did the old double feature. I did the Guardians Spider-Verse classic double feature. Roller coaster of emotions that day, let me tell you.
Which one did you see first again?
Guardians.
Oh, so you were going into Spider-Verse just tears streaming.
A distraught, broken man just just ready to go see some silly little spider people.
I think it's a good palate cleanser, though. Although saying that, the first 10 minutes is just soul-crushingly sad for Gwen.
Yeah. It's not a movie that's particularly hey, it's not silly goofy hijinks at all. There's like silly goofy hijinks in it, but it's not like,
I feel like the first one is sillier.
Yeah. There's no Peter Porker there just running about and being like, that's all folks and all that sort of stuff.
Also, I guess first thing, like, what do you think? You like it?
This movie, Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
Beyond, wait, which one is this?
This is Across.
Okay, I never know the titles. I just call them all Spider-Verse.
It's all the newest Spider-Verse one.
This is Spider-Verse. And then the other one was Spider-Verse 1.
No, that was just Spider-Verse as well.
No, it was Spider-Verse 1. And then this is Spider-Verse. And then the next one, when it comes out, it'll be Spider-Verse. And then this will become Spider-Verse 2.
Okay, I see. So they, yeah.
That's
as
how
it goes
works.
on.
Yeah. It is good. It is very, very good. It is amazing, spectacular, astonishing. I'm doing all the...
I got it. I was just waiting to see when you ran
Ultimate.
PS4.
PS4.
Insomniacs.
2099.
Spider-Gwen.
Go Spider. It's all of them. It's good. It doesn't improve on the first one because there's nothing to improve on. It builds on the first one. And it's great. It's good. It's amazing. I had a great time.
The first one, genuinely, 10 out of 10, nothing wrong with it in my books.
See, I feel like I probably have a recency bias for this one, so I don't want to say that this is my favorite, but it might be. It could be.
Consult Nathan 2 years ago when he recorded every Spider-Man movie ever, early episode of this podcast.
What did I say?
I'm fairly certain I don't know, but I'm fairly certain we both said it was up there for us.
Oh, the first Spider-Verse movie is definitely my favorite Spider-Man movie. But what I'm saying is, I don't know if it still is because.
Oh, I see.
Because like, admittedly, I probably do have a bit of a recency bias with this one.
It's hard to say because I think it, like you say, it doesn't improve upon. I think technically it improves upon, but that's not to say the first one did anything wrong.
No.
I think it's just like the animation levels itself up here because they open the door and now they fully just fucking kick it down. And they're like, everything that we did, we can now do better and to a grander, more ambitious scale, which I think is really fucking cool. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'd probably prefer to just like watch the first one because it's a complete story, but then like once Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out, I feel like I'll just have an equal fun time watching all three of them probably. I would say this movie, like its themes are probably more interesting than even just the plot itself, and I think the movie is doing that on purpose because it's the opening of a story. It's less like we've got to get through this, we've got to get to a resolution. It's more just like, let's really check in on our characters and see how they all are, and it's way more Gwen focused this time around. Which, how do you feel about that?
Love it.
Yeah.
It's good. I like Gwen. She's great. Yeah, Harry Stanfield is good. Great standout from the first movie. I like that we do get a lot more of this. She's kind of like co-lead with Miles in this, kind of. Like, the first one was Miles' movie. There's no doubt about it. This one, I'd say it's still Miles' movie, but like Gwen is like, she's more on a bit of an equal footing with him, really. They seem to like kind of share the spotlight a bit.
I was going to say, once we put Across the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse together, I think it will be Miles' story.
Yeah.
But this movie feels like, and actually, because I saw it twice, the first time I just didn't, it's not that I didn't connect with the movie, I just had a bad I said it last week, I had a really bad viewing experience. Just like a bunch of people, like, very distracting in the cinema, and it was kind of hard to pick up on a lot of the subtle nuance stuff. So when I watched it a second time, my opinion of it on my first screening was, I like it, but it felt like half a movie, which is, I think, what a lot of people have been saying. And then when I saw it the second time round, I was like, I'm going to look at this as like Gwen's movie. And Gwen has a beginning, middle, and an end. Like, Gwen has a whole complete arc here. Which I think is like her relationship with her father mainly. And I think once you look at it through that lens, it becomes a bit more to tolerate as like, because there are a lot of people seething about a cliffhanger that probably didn't know it was going to be like a part 1 and part 2 scenario.
I didn't.
Did you not?
Well, no, I did, but I forgot.
Okay.
Because like originally this movie was called, wasn't it called Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 and Part 2?
It was, yeah.
And when the first trailer came out, I think that's how it was marketed, and then at some point after it they changed it. Forgot about that completely. 100%. I wasn't aware like the next one was coming out next year or anything. Like I was just, I'll go see the new Spider-Verse, like whatever.
Just quickly while I've got you there, it's not coming out next year, is it? Like that's wishful thinking.
We'll talk about that, trust me. We'll talk about that. But no, when it was getting to the end moment, I'm like, this seems weird, man. Like this, how long have I been sat here? I don't think there's enough time to this is a lot of shit to deal with to wrap up. And then when it started to come to an end, I was like, is this a part one? Is this a fucking, like, what the fuck? And then it did, and then it went to be continued. I was like, what the fuck? I went to be continued, and then in my cinema, there was like an audible groan from a lot of people. Yeah.
That's we spoke about earlier, like how quiet the British people are in the cinema a lot of the time. So that's how you know it like, evokes a serious response. Yeah. I thought it was going to be a part 1 and 2 in the way that Infinity War and Endgame are a part 1 and part 2, in that they're both their own movies with their own resolutions.
Yeah.
And there's just a big thing that will carry over, that thing being like, oh, we haven't stopped Thanos yet. But they're still very different movies.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I feel like when you put this together, it's just going to be some like 9-hour epic of Spider-Man stuff.
I feel like I don't think it's completely the case that this is just fully half a movie. I do think it is a little bit more complete than that. But I without seeing the next one, I don't know.
We recently spoke about The Matrix.
The Matrix.
Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah.
And we touched on some stuff across those movies. And I'll get it out of the way early. We're probably not the right people to comment and say that we fundamentally can see everything that's happening in this. But I do think it would be a disservice not to mention it. A lot of interesting, like, queer, trans kind of experience in this, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, Gwen with her dad, and there's the obvious she's living the double life kind of thing. She kind of doesn't know how to tell people who she really is, and I really like also the added kind of extra from what I assume is a lot of people's experience. Her dad is like zeroed in on this one thing, like his work and life becomes consumed by catching Spider-Man and Spider-Woman, yeah. And for I guess like a trans metaphor of that is when like men in their 50s make it their entire personality to fucking hate anything other than straight white, like what they would consider like the norm, any minority or marginalized group. So that's what I mean about seeing it as one kind of Gwen story, because when her dad comes around at the end, I don't know. Where do you sit with all of that stuff?
There's definitely stuff in there. There's definitely subtext and everything. There's a lot of people saying Gwen herself is a trans character, full stop. And there's absolutely no argument to be made against that. People will try. That's not stopping people. Just before we started recording, I just saw on Twitter something like on that shitty fucking For You page came up that says Spider-Gwen is biologically female. And it's just like, if that's the way you see it, fair enough, okay? Whatever. But like, if people are choosing to interpret it this way and taking comfort in that fact and feeling represented because of it, then who fucking cares? Like, just let them fucking have it, man. Like, what harm is it really fucking doing you to say this character is trans? Like, who gives a shit, my guy?
Well, and there's also that, like, the thing that also bothers me is that the people that are kind of rebuttaling that on the internet, a lot of them are being like, well, like, this person is a biological female, this person's trans, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the people being like, all these guys losing their mind over a fictional character. I'm like, yeah, but her experience is real to other people. So like, there's a way that can be Yeah, look, yes, she's not real. She's a character. But at the same time, it's a character that is embodying an experience that resonates with a lot of people. So just shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just let people have their thing. I got stuff to speak on Miguel. I think Miguel is a big fucking metaphor for just like bigoted blokes and nerds and incels and everything.
In a way, yes, not completely, but
yeah,
there's shades of stuff with him. I think
something that I think we are more qualified to talk on is nerds. Like, let's move away from the trans stuff now, because like I said, there's probably a lot of people that have that experience more so than us on the internet that will have great resources to check out and shit. Don't listen to us. But I feel like this has been kind of brought up in. I saw like some sort of TikTok clip about some of the creators talking about this very briefly. This movie in itself is a direct examination of like nerds that are like, this isn't accurate to the comics, and like Miles is Miles and not Spider-Man, and all those fucking losers.
Miles is Spider-Man.
Miles, look, that's the thing. Miles is exactly Spider-Man, but there's a bunch of incels that are like, Spider-Man is Spider-Man, Miles Morales is Miles Morales, because they just can't fathom a fucking black person
But he's
being
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
He's Spider-Man.
Hey, I know, Nathan, I know this. Have you not heard of that kind of community of incels?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, and that does touch into some of the stuff. Let's not get into that now. I want to like say that towards the end because that's part of like a whole sequence of stuff.
Sure. Okay.
Where do you want to go?
Do you want to talk about the animation?
It's good.
It's very good.
It's good, man. It's great.
Like you said, I think it's a step up, but not in the way that the first was wrong, more in that this is more ambitious, because something that I don't think we got to see in the first one is we're now not only seeing characters from different worlds, we're seeing characters in their worlds.
Yes.
And how their design changes from different worlds that we go to. Gwen's, I fell in love with the fucking visual art style of Gwen's.
Gwen's universe is great. The way it's just like, kind of like just watercolor paint. Kind of, and just this like smudged, and the colors just blooming and changing and all this sort of stuff. It's really great.
It changes to like her emotions and how like if suddenly like her dad is a space of warmth, and then he's kind of perceived as a threat, and his entire vibe changes, and it like emotionally guides you through it, which I also think is cool because like this is a very mature movie, I think, but also. There's the age-old thing, animation isn't just for kids, it's for everyone, but it also is for kids.
Yeah.
And I feel like a way to take a kid through that storyline is very much like showing them, like leading them by the hand and being like, colors are signifying this. And yeah, I don't think it's like a patronizing thing. I think it's just an assistance. And that's really, really cool. Who else we got? Spider-Punk.
My favorite character in this movie.
Yeah, I thought he'd be all over that, yeah.
Fucking hell. He's just like me for real. This guy. I love this character so much.
You waited until I was taking a sip of my juice to make me laugh.
I loved his introduction. I love the fact that, like, because Gwen talks about him quite a bit before he's introduced, and he's kind of like set up to be sort of like a rival for Miles. Like, he's
like a love interest.
Yeah,
guy,
like a rival love interest. Gwen talks about him. She's like quite enamored with him. He's a pretty cool guy from all the sounds of it. And then when he shows up, he is a fucking cool guy. But also, from fucking Hobie's point of view, he's like Miles' number one fan as well. Like, he's fucking straight up supporting Miles from the get-go. He's cheering him on to save the fucking people in Mumbattan. When they get to Spider Society, he's like, why do you want to be here, man? Like, what are you doing? I'm like, what's going on with all this sort of stuff? He's kind of like talking him out of the society and all this sort of shit. And he helps him escape and everything. It's sick. I love him so much.
He's a great character. And yeah, he's more than just... I think it'd be so easy. And a lot of people have said this about some of the Spider-Men in this, that they become a punchline and nothing else. And he so easily could have been that.
Yeah.
Like, he could have easily just... I mean, he does almost have a line of every kind of anti-establishment thing. He's there like, I don't believe in that. And then like in the background. And it's funny.
It is funny. One of my favorites is... I think the spot says like, you guys make a great team, and then he says he says I don't believe in teams, and then Miles says, aren't you in a band? And he goes, I don't believe in consistency either. That's very funny.
It's really good. He's also Daniel Kaluuya, just
great choice, man.
Yes, because he has got the most laid back voice on the planet.
Yeah, he's so good. He's so good. I love his introduction is great. I hate the AM, I hate the PM. Great double meaning there. Just him talking about just taking on the whole like punk attitude and just fighting fascists and anti-establishment and all that. I'm like, oh, he's so me. He's who I want to be, man. I love him so much.
And his animation style as well. I read somewhere that his every single body part that he had, or like every limb, I suppose, is, I don't know how like strictly speaking true this is as well, down to the specifics. But apparently like every limb is animated in a different frame rate to
Yeah.
keep with the whole, like, firstly, I guess a meta joke about the lack of consistency, but then also he's apparently very much so mirrored on like punk rock
Yeah,
posters.
it's very Sex Pistols. It's very like Sex Pistols album artwork and all that sort of shit. It's very, very much that sort of stuff.
And his coloring goes like grey every couple of frames because it's like apparently that's some sort of joke about how like the printers in that era never had enough ink to like match the color tones that these bands were putting out. So I don't know, like I can't, again, this is just stuff I read, like I can't speak to how true it all is, but like even if it's not, it's still so clear that so much thought and work went into like how that character moves. I think that character is like one of the single biggest achievements in the movie.
Yeah, it's so
just
good.
like how he realistically fucking interacts with everyone.
Yeah, he's great. I also loved Pavita Prabhakar, I think is the name. Pavita Prabhakar, sorry, the Indian Spider-Man from Mumbattan, which was just so funny, man.
He doesn't go to the gym because he doesn't want to get too big. He's do you know what, like he is the definition of a Spider-Man that hasn't had his trauma yet, because Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, Spider-People, they all have the moment where they just become horrendously depressed.
Yeah.
And that's like a state. I mean, like the movie even jokes that it's a canon event. Like it's something that has to happen in their origin.
Yeah.
And when we, at the time of meeting him, like his is about to happen, hasn't happened yet. And he's just like, I love chilling with my girlfriend. I go and have some tea with my mum. Like,
It's a great time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love a joke about his hair as well. He just wakes up in the morning with perfect hair. Doesn't do anything to it because it's already great. The chai tea joke as well was very funny. That was great.
And doesn't he say naan bread as well? He's like, that's just bread.
Yeah, I think it's the spot that says naan bread, and then he.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The spot was your biggest thing you got spoiled for you, right?
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, just because, like I said, I think the movie came out on Friday. I went to see it on Saturday, and it was already spoiled for me. Because I was just on Twitter on Friday, and then there was just like a lot of tweets that were just taking like the moment the bagel hits the guy in the first movie and being like, oh, look at this, we got to re-examine this moment now, and all this sort of shit.
Also, you don't. The moment's the same.
Don't. It's the same. Nothing changed, man. Like, fuck off. No, there was just the thing that really like fucking cemented it and put it in place for me was there was an old tweet from some like account which is made purely to get engagement, which just tweeted out in like 2018, which had the bigger what event had the biggest impact. This guy getting hit in the head with a bagel or something Thanos something. And obviously it ended up being Thanos or whatever, but then there was just so many quote tweets on that just saying like, oh, we gotta re-examine this moment now, we gotta take a look back, and I'm just like, great, cool. So then when I was watching the movie and like when the spot is introduced, he's kind of just like, you kind of just get the feeling like at first he'll just be a bit of a nothing villain, just something for Miles to deal with in the beginning and then just to move on and as the real villain emerges later. But throughout his whole introduction and all that scene, he's talking about like his backstory and he's hinting at like he's someone from Miles's past and you created him and all this sort of stuff. And throughout all of that, I was just like, yeah, I know. Cool,
yeah, it's the
great
bagel
guy, cool. So that would have been fun, but I guess not.
That makes me so sad that was spoiled for you because it was such a joy.
Yeah,
in the cinema to experience this guy go from a punch, like he's like throwing up bread out of his stomach, and Miles is like, don't do that, that's fucking great. Like you're looking at him going, this guy's pathetic. What a little weaselly worm.
Yeah,
that Miles will just beat up and then go to Spanish class or whatever. Like. And to watch him suddenly, out of nowhere, become a villain that is capable of ending the multiverse, like, that was a real joy to kind of have the wool pulled under your eyes. Because I was like, the trailer set up Miguel to be the main villain, and he is, but there's a bigger threat going on. But yeah, what's the eye roll? You don't think Miguel's a villain?
Look, I don't know if I'd call him a villain. He's an obstacle.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd...
Nathan's an incel.
No, because Miguel's not... Look, I know where you're coming from, but Miguel's not that.
Okay.
I think Miguel has misinterpreted some stuff, okay?
Right. Yeah.
And we'll get to that. But yeah, no, the spot was great. I like how they took a villain which was genuinely just a pretty just shit fucking villain. Like, he hasn't had many appearances. He's probably most famous from the fucking 90s animated cartoon.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they made him into like a real fucking incredible threat, which is great. It was really good stuff. I'm just looking at a cast list, and Jack Quaid is listed as Peter Parker.
Jack Quaid is the Peter Parker that dies in Gwen's world, the little weed.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
the lizard.
The lizard
becomes the lizard. Yeah, interesting.
Which is pretty sick. Yeah, I like that. That man cannot escape being cast as a twink, can he? Like, just a small. Little...
He is a twink. Look at him.
I mean, yeah, it's true. Yeah. Yeah, another character I think is kind of most prominent, or at least one of their biggest appearances, is in the 90s animated show. Is the Scarlet Spider? Is it Ben O'Reilly or Ben Reilly?
No, Ben Reilly.
Where am I getting O'Reilly?
Miguel O'Hara. You're probably thinking of.
We'll get to him. Nathan's favourite character. Andy Samberg, genius.
Yeah, I didn't notice it at first. I was like I heard the voice. I was like, oh fuck, that sounds familiar.
Yeah,
I know who that is, but I didn't. And it was only after the fact that I realized who he was. But yeah, very good. I like the perfect pose.
Yeah, I'm going over here now. Look into the distance.
It's weird. I think some like hardcore Ben Reilly fans are pretty upset because it's not like an accurate fucking depiction of Ben Reilly. But like, who cares, man? It's a bit of fun.
I can sympathise if Ben Reilly's your favourite character of all time, which is true for like maybe 3 people.
He's a pretty big deal. I think he's like come back into the comics recently, but the comics recently are a big mess from what I hear.
I hear they're fucking dreadful.
Yeah, they're like Mary Jane's like married to some other guy now or something.
Is this weird little greasy guy?
This guy called Brian, and he's got like a mustache.
Oh, Brian.
Yeah,
that's amazing. It would be called Brian.
Oh no, it might be Paul. I think it's Paul now, actually.
Paul, okay.
Just some weird, very common, just nothing name. Sorry if that's your name, but yeah,
it's my father-in-law's name.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it? Shout out, Paul.
Well, I think it's a lovely name, Paul, if you're listening. I can see why those people might be like the tiniest bit miffed.
Yeah.
But like, it's funny. He's funny.
He's funny, yeah.
And it's making a joke about like, he's like, my big muscles are so perfectly sculpted, because apparently when his first like comic appearance, they drew him as the most insanely ripped man.
Which is true for basically any character in the 90s as well. In the 90s, everyone was just so fucking extreme and big and just ready.
You seen that Captain America thing where his chest is like a double-decker bus?
Yes. Rob Liefeld, famously the creator of Deadpool, cannot draw for shit.
Is he the one that traces porn?
No, that was another guy who I think was pushed out of the industry, but
for tracing too much porn.
But that is a thing that happened.
I think voice acting. Maybe you'll disagree. Maybe you will agree. I don't know. I don't know how popular of a take this is. I think voice acting is at its best.
Yeah.
When it kind of goes unnoticed.
Yeah.
That's not to say it's bland.
Yeah.
It's to say that you believe that that's Miles Morales speaking.
If you want to hear some very bad voice acting, just go and play any of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man games and just listen to Tobey Maguire's work.
Pizza time!
Tobey Maguire in those games is... Look, personally, I don't think he's that good of an actor on screen, but in the voice booth, he's pretty fucking bad. So...
And for those of you that are still here, we will now continue with the rest of the podcast. Because saying anything against Tobey Maguire is fucking... You're asking
blasphemy.
For a bullet. Yeah. No, but yeah, like I think it's the best when you don't notice it. And these... again, not to say that that's bad, that's to say that they just become and inhabit the characters. Like I think... A lot of people in the first one were so quick to praise Jake Johnson as Peter Parker. Just phenomenal. There is one moment in this where I think we agreed this I don't know, about a week ago whenever we spoke about it. There is one moment in this where he just becomes Nick from New Girl.
He does.
A moment where he's like stressing about something.
Yeah.
I'm just Picturing Peter Parker, like, I gave you a cookie, you give me cookie. A lot of do you know? Have you got the cast list still up?
Yeah.
Who's what's the name of the guy that plays Miles?
Shamik Moore.
A lot of talk about him campaigning for his own Miles live action thing.
Look.
Be careful about your response. There's nuanced takes.
Look, okay. If they go for an older Miles, then sure. Let him have an audition. All right. Let him have an audition, see if he works, give him a chemistry test with whoever you've got. Sure.
Before you're too mean, he has himself heard these reactions and tweeted, I didn't know you guys could be so mean, or something along those lines.
I'm not being mean, I'm just stating a fact, okay? Miles is a 15-year-old boy. Okay. If they're going for an older version, absolutely. Great.
What do you then think? And I think we have the same opinion on this, because I know exactly what you're going to say back. What do you think about Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield?
Awful. Too old.
Playing 17-year-olds as 27-year-old men or something.
Andrew Garfield is more convincing, okay? Because he had great hair.
Because he hasn't got a receding hairline.
Yeah, exactly. But still, way too old. Like, you look at clips of, like, Amazing Spider-Man 2, where his hair was starting to recede, and then you compare them with, like, No Way Home, and you see Tom Holland versus this guy, and you're like, this is a 40-year-old man. And he's like, yeah, I just graduated high school. What am I going to do now? And it's like, come on, man. Like,
I know. I get it. I do see that. Like, I think they were already cast too old. This might be sad. If you insulting Tobey Maguire didn't chase everyone off, this certainly will. I think the only casting decision to have done it right age range wise is Tom Holland, because in Homecoming he conceivably could be a 15-year-old boy.
Yeah, it is. It's true. It is. It was at the time. It was the right choice for that. But that's not to say you can't do an older Spider-Man. You absolutely can. Peter B. Parker is fucking great. Love that. But if you're going for the young in school fucking Spider-Man, then I just think we're past the era of this is. It's like the meme, you know, the meme from Brooklyn Nine-Nine where it's Terry Crews and he's just wearing the sign that says 7-year-old boy.
Oh yeah,
on his chest. It's just like basically.
I didn't hear about this until this week. Apparently in early conversations, Jake Johnson was almost never considered because they were going to cast Tobey Maguire.
So glad they didn't, man. Oh, can you imagine?
It would have been. Look, I don't want to just shit on him. I feel like maybe with some acting coaches, he might have been okay.
Maybe, but he's not. He's not even good on screen, man.
No.
I'm sorry, but.
Jake Johnson is great as Nick. He's known as an on-screen actor, but he brings a quality to Nick that is very vocal.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of comedy through his voice. Same with Max Greenfield in that show. Like,
yeah.
He's an actor that when they move into voice acting roles, I don't go, oh, that's just a live action guy getting more of these parts. It's just a celebrity name. Because he's brilliant at both.
Yeah. It's true.
He's not Chris Pratt, basically, is what I'm saying.
Chris Pratt gets a lot of shit. He's all right. He's not a bad voice actor. He's not Tobey Maguire.
No, but Tobey Maguire is just dreadful. to be honest,
he is. But he's good in Lego Movie. He's. I haven't seen Mario, but I'm sure he's fine.
No, I think he's great, but I think he's great at, like, I'm Chris Pratt in this world doing this thing with this coat of paint on.
Yeah. He's casting because he's a name. Basically,
yeah,
he's
like a bland guy.
Yeah,
he's an empty canvas. Which sounds so mean on Chris Pratt. Like,
you could be mean on Chris Pratt. That's okay.
Oh, I heard about some of this stuff. Yeah. Let's move away from that. Just one last thing I was gonna say. I think Shamik Moore, is that
Shamik Moore? Yeah,
Shamik Moore. I think he's going the wrong way about it. I think play this role, do this role great, and then in 5 years' time, you've got a lucrative career being the voice of an Ultimate Spider-Man TV show or something.
Yeah.
I don't think he has much of a shot of a live action. I think he could do it. I just don't think a studio would let him do it.
Yuri Lowenthal's been playing Spider-Man for quite a while, like longer
Yeah.
than before the first game came out. He was playing Spider-Man in other games and TV shows and stuff, so he's been doing it quite a while.
And Drake Bell, your favourite
Nope.
performance.
He could very much become like the Kevin Conroy, like the distinct voice of Miles, really.
Yeah.
So
It's sure as shit not going to be Donald Glover. So- which is what so many people were going on, and
yeah, sadly. It's strongly believed that the character of Miles was created because of Donald Glover, because there was a whole fucking movement of him to be cast as Peter Parker in the Andrew Garfield reboot.
was there really?
Yeah, like one of the earliest internet campaigns was to get this guy as fucking Spider-Man. It was a really big thing. Didn't work out, obviously. But around that same time, I think it was around 2012 that Miles was introduced in the comics.
I thought that was a response to his character in Community has a moment where he like gets out of bed and stretches and he's in like a
That
Spider-Man
is part
onesie or
of
something.
the Donald for Spider-Man movement. That was that was in the show because of the Donald for Spider-Man movement.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, cool. I didn't. So that was obviously like a tactical situation rather than just an occurrence.
Yeah. And that's again never officially been confirmed, but why he showed up in No Way Home as well as Aaron Davis.
You mean Homecoming, right?
Yeah, sorry. Well, they're all
Yeah.
the same.
Homecoming is becoming known as the movie that set up some Spider-Man villains that then they went, no, we're not going to do that, actually. Do you remember the fucking, what's his name? Michael Mando as Scorpion and was like, when I get out of prison, I'm going to beat up Peter Parker. And then he just never got out of prison.
What's his name?
He's Vass from Far Cry 3.
No, he's
Nacho from Better Call
yes,
Saul.
he's handsome villain from Breaking Bad Universe.
He is very handsome.
He's so hot, man. He's so hot.
You want to see him towards like the end of the show. Like,
Every time when I watched that first season of Better Call Saul, every time he showed up, I was just twirling my hair and kicking my feet. I was like, he's so hot.
yeah, he's got his like what are those shoes called? A lot of like gangsters wear them.
idea.
Like the metal pointed toes.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe they're always just going bowling.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, what did you think about all the cameo stuff in it? I know we have like a million versions of Spider-Man, but like the big ones.
There's a lot of very funny ones, a lot of fun ones. So yeah. First of all, Yuri Lowenthal shows up. He plays the PS4 Spider-Man, which is great. It was great to see him. I like how, again, it shouldn't be surprising because they do this in these movies. It was just like the game character, but like,
Yeah.
as in like animated in the game style. Like they just took the model from the game character and just dropped him in this.
I'm so
basically.
happy that they did that as well, because in the trailer,
Yeah,
there's a moment where you can see a Spider-Man in his suit, in the advanced white spider suit.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, I like that they're bringing him in, but I don't want to see him in this animation. I want to see him, like, I'm
his
a weird, out of fucking, like, I feel out of place here, but it's great, yeah.
And he was. Yeah, there was Donald Glover as the Prowler, which he looked great. Like,
That suit looks cool.
yeah, bring him in, man.
He's playing with his gloves and shit. He's just, like, twiddling his thumbs waiting to get out of this prison thing.
Yeah, that looked great. One that absolutely fucking killed me. It was quite embarrassing as well because, like, my cinema was pretty quiet. Like, there was probably about, like, 10, 15 people
Did
max.
you go American?
No, I didn't cheer or anything, but there was one moment. Again, about 10, 15 people max in the cinema, and then the spider buggy shows up, and someone says, "Oh, this is Peter parked car,"
Yeah.
and that fucking killed me. I laughed so loud. But no one else. There was like a little from everyone else, but I was fucking dying, man.
You love a pun, don't you? You love a silly pun.
It's good, man. It's good.
Peter Parked Car is brilliant.
It's so good. Yeah, there's a lot of fun other ones. Web Slinger, who's like a cowboy Spider-Man, which is pretty cool. He's got a horse, which also has a mask on, which is funny. Who else was there? There was Spider-Cat, a T-Rex Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Inexplicably.
So does that make the lady that like rides the motorbike and I believe she was pregnant? Is
Jessica something. She's Spider-Woman, yeah.
She's Spider-Woman, okay.
Yeah.
She was great as well. A bit more on the morally dubious side.
Yeah. Jessica Drew.
Look, time's marching on. Do you wanna break open your Miguel defense?
Well, I want you, instead of you swinging around this on me, I want you to break open your hit piece on Latino Irish character Miguel O'Hara.
No! Don't set them up like that. I don't want that. Fucking fuck you.
You trying to swing it around on me, get me cancelled.
Well, look, I've sat up. I'm getting my notes.
First of all, Oscar Isaac reprising his role from the first movie. Clearly, I don't know if you've gone back and watched the post credits from the first movie, but clearly some shit has gone down in this man's life since he discovered travel in the multiverse.
Yeah, he's I saw a thing that because like physically I think the costume redesign looks better anyway.
Yeah.
But like physically, I saw I didn't pick up on this, but I saw someone mention it. He hasn't got the sticking to the wall powers, so the reason his back is so fucking hench is because he has to climb everywhere properly.
Yeah, he's got claws. He can like. Claw.
Yeah, he's got the running up walls ability of a cat, which is he still has to work for it.
Yeah.
Not a spider, which is I'll sleep here if I need to.
I think he might be able to fly.
Really?
In the comics, I think. I don't know much about 2099. I do know, interesting fact, that he was never supposed to be blue.
Really?
Yeah, it's part of like a whole thing that he was supposed to be black and red. Like his costume design is supposed to be black and red, but at the time, the early 90s, like basically dark blue was the stand-in for black because you couldn't print just full-on black in comic books because it just looks like nothing. Yeah, that's why if you look at like Venom comics from the same era, it's like mostly blue. Black Cat, mostly blue. And all that sort of stuff.
Wow,
so
okay.
Yeah, so it was supposed to be black and red, but just because like the character was popular and he just kept appearing, no one kind of like made that connection. And over time, it's just like, sure, it's blue. It's blue and red.
Yeah, I like that over time it just became like, because it looks better. It looks good.
It does look good. It's a good suit.
And also, there's so many other versions of Spider-Man where it's like a different iteration with a black suit. Like, I like the idea of taking the Spider-Man colours but flipping them in a way that just kind of feels a bit more menacing or a bit more serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that about Black Cat though. That's really interesting. The black blue cat.
Yeah. It's like if you ever played the PS1 Spider-Man games, I used to love them. Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2. They were so good.
Were they the ones with Bruce something narrating them?
No, that was the Tobey Maguire Raimi ones.
I see.
No, these was like before the movies came out. It was just like comic book Spider-Man video game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Stan Lee actually narrates them. It was very good. But yeah, in those games, Venom and Black Cat appear, and they're both just full on, just very blue. And Spider-Man's like, Black Cat, what are you doing here? And she's just like head to toe blue. And it always just confused me as a kid. And my father was like, am I colorblind? What's going on?
Yeah, you were at the opticians like, my Spider-Man game is fucked.
Yeah.
All right, well, look, first thing I'll say, before I get into the meat of Miguel...
I'll get into the meat of Miguel.
Oh, no. I saw someone refer to him as the most patient boss, where 1,000 of his co-workers all think they're the funny guy in the office. Yeah. And that made me have a lot more sympathy for his plight in this movie, to be fair. Like, he just one more comes in that's got jokes and he's like, I'm done. I don't need this shit anymore.
Doesn't Peter B. Parker even say to him, like, why aren't you funny? Like, all of us are funny.
Yeah.
We're always making jokes, man. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. You're the only one of us that isn't funny. In the film, Miguel has... correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm a bit hazy on the exact specifics, because it's in quite a big scene where a lot of other shit is explained too. Mm-hmm. He jumps into a world to replace a dead Miguel.
Yes.
And that, kind of goes to plan. He's there long enough to develop some connections with a family that is his alternate self's family.
Yeah.
Until that disrupts the canon event and his world is obliterated. And I presume everyone he loved dies.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I think he's... And it comes across well, like, this is going to open a conversation about what is a canon event anyway. So let me get through my whole spiel and then feel free to pick it apart.
All right, I'll mute my mic.
No, don't mute. It's still helpful if I tell a funny joke. I need your laugh. He's muted his mic. Right. Look, If here's my big thing.
Bazinga punk, I'm back.
Oh, good, thanks. If Miles was never meant to be Spider-Man, why should he have a canon event? If his Spider-Man was supposed, if Chris Pine's Spider-Man from Into the Spider-Verse, the first one with blonde hair, if he was the Spider-Man and he wasn't meant to die, why did that not blow up Miles's world? My thing here is that I think, and I don't know if this is intentional, but I think it's something.
Explain what a canon event is.
Okay, so a canon event is, I think we touched on it earlier. It's something that's specific to Spider-Man. Someone has to die, something has to happen in a way that they have to experience a great loss through someone they love. And it will always be kind of, it's presented to them as like a drastically tragic thing that they can't change. And it defines them. It's the Uncle Ben, it's the Captain Stacy, it's the someone you love needs to die for you to become the Spider-Man that you're meant to be. For Miles, we assumed, and I think the movie even kind of refers to it as his Uncle Aaron dying, but apparently there's another one coming up, which is that his dad, who is going to be made captain, has to die as well, which is obviously something that happened in the game. I'm pretty sure it happens in the comics as well, I'd imagine.
No, it's his dad, usually.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So is his not his dad in the comics?
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant his Uncle Aaron in the comics.
Oh, no, because Uncle Aaron he's normally just the Prowler, isn't he?
Yeah.
So if Miles was never meant to be Spider-Man, why should he have a canon event? If Chris Pine's Spider-Man was the Spider-Man, and he wasn't supposed to die, why did him dying not fuck up the world? Basically, I have this thing, and I don't know if this is plot thing. I've said at the beginning, I think what the themes of this movie are more interesting than the plot itself. And I think something that they're trying to get at is a big metaphor for essentially nerds. And not nerds. Nerds is more of a loving community. I mean, fucking weird incels and racists online that are like, if things didn't go my way and this isn't accurate to what I think is this character's story, then they try and ruin other people's enjoyment out of it. Like, you like The Last Jedi? Well, that's because you're dumb. Because The Last Jedi was bad, so you're dumb. It's not just we have a different subjective opinion to you. It's objective fact. So I think Miguel is very much an embodiment of someone that things were going his way, it was taken from him, and then when he sees that other people have their life, I think there's something in him. He embodies like an incel to me. He's like, Miles is not Spider-Man. He's the embodiment of saying, you're an anomaly. You were never supposed to be Spider-Man, which ties into the racists people. Like, Miles isn't Spider-Man. He's just Miles Morales. He's not Spider-Man. And also, I think there's a comment being made on how, because Miguel wasn't given the life he wanted and it didn't go his way, he's bestowing suffering upon these other Spider-Men, and specifically Miles, to say that if it didn't go right for me, you don't get it. It's justice. You shouldn't have things your way when things can't go mine either. So I don't know how truthful that is to the character of Miguel O'Hara in this, but I think it's a metaphor that the movie is doing, rather than, I could be proven entirely wrong. I just think it's an interesting point of view on his character.
I think you're right. I don't think the movie is flat out saying Miguel is racist, and
no,
he's and that's my point. I don't think Miguel is saying or anything that he personally doesn't want Miles as Spider-Man or anything like that. And I think that those ideas and those fucking idiots and their viewpoints are put across through him as like a sort of,
he's like a conduit for that thing.
Yes. Yeah. And the fucking moment, the whole way the chase sequence, which is so fucking good, plays out, and then the big moment on the train where Miles just says, no, I'm gonna do my own thing, and all this sort of shit. It's so good. It's so well done. I think Miguel is someone who something very bad happened to him, and then he thought, oh, this happened because of that thing. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think he's just massively misinterpreted this whole canon event shit. I think that he's so blinded by his own rage and trauma, and he's so mad at himself for the decisions he's made, that he just isn't necessarily thinking clearly about a lot of this stuff. Because, like, in the scene where they have the kind of like exposition info dump and they're all talking about the canon events and shit, like a lot of people are talking about their own canon event and stuff, but no one else can ever back up what he's saying about like a universe, a dimension being destroyed because a canon event was changed. He's the only one who has experienced that. So we only have his word to go on, and it doesn't necessarily line up.
Well, because even Miles stopping the cannon event in Mumbattan, that was the spot causing that fucking event. Like it wasn't. The world didn't start to explode. It was just the spot made some havoc, which I think was maybe an intentional misdirect.
I think so, yeah. And I think I don't know what caused Miguel's universe to whatever the fuck happened to it. It could possibly even be something with the spot. It could be that the spot is somehow doing this through time as well. We saw in the first movie that the dimension, traveling through dimensions can also fuck with time, because Gwen got pushed back a week when she got there. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So stuff can happen with time travel, I guess. So yeah, what it is, I don't know, but I think that something is just he's just misinterpreting shit, and that's why I'm hesitant to call him a villain, because he's antagonistic towards Miles. He is an object and something for him to overcome, but I don't think he's a villain. I don't think this whole thing is going to end up in a big blow-by-blow fight between Miles and Miguel at all.
Yeah. No, I actually think your interpretation is correct. It's interesting about the Gwen being pushed through time, because that sounds like absolutely something that will be revisited on. So I actually think your interpretation is correct. I'm coming at it from the point of view as like, as a character, you're probably absolutely right, but as an idea and a concept, I think they are sending about a message to people who proclaim that they're fans.
Yeah.
And how damaging their interpretation being pushed onto other people can be.
I'd agree with that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
There you go. We're both right.
We're both... Wow!
We did it.
That's a rare one for this show. That's a rare one. I like that.
Yeah, but that whole trace sequence, it's so good. Just the moment where first of all, Hobie, my king, tells Miles how to like break out of the force field thing using the palms, not the fingers. And then he's just like, by the way, I quit. Fuck all of you. Because like, again, that makes so much sense, because like, knowing what we know about Hobie, like when all of this, when Miguel started talking about it, I'm like, Hobie won't be on board with all this sort of shit, man. You're telling me that the anti-fascist, fucking anti-establishment punk Spider-Man is going to be okay with a whole society that just happily lets people die? Like,
yeah,
not a chance, man. Not a chance.
I think he was in it until he could meet the other Black Spider-Man, and then he was like, safe, and then left. Like...
And then he dipped, yeah. But yeah, no, I liked when he just left, and by the way, I quit. See you later. That was great. But yeah, just then the whole just fucking explosion of just stop Spider-Man, and then there's a funny point meme. Ha ha ha. I actually love it every time it shows up. I do.
Yeah, that's not great. Like. I'm all for it. Yeah,
do it more. Do it 4 times.
It's always funny.
In the movie. Yeah, it's so good. I'll never get tired of it.
Release a cut of this movie that's just people pointing at each other. Me and Nathan will be there.
I'll cheer. I will cheer for it. But yeah, just the explosion then of just everyone chasing him. It's so good. It's so fun to watch. It
is very, very good. I do like. I'm curious to get your take on it, and I'm fairly certain it'll be the same as mine. The nature of the Spider Society does imply that there are like maybe like tens of thousands of Peter Parkers and Gwen Stacy's and just various other iterations of Spider people.
And only one Miles?
No, because that's in. I think they touch on that with the anomaly stuff. But it does imply that every single one of those Spider people have gone, yeah, I guess they gotta die. Yeah. Where do you land? And also to the point of like trying to force Miles to let someone die, not just passively being like, that was sad that happened to me, but I'm not gonna interfere with other people. Where are you on that stuff?
I'm with Miles. There's nothing that, to me, there's not enough proof for it, really. Yeah. We haven't seen enough to make me definitively say that, yeah, sure, these people need to die, because that's a lot. That's a lot to say that people to just stand back and let people die. And Miles just can't do it. And I fucking love that. And it's the similar sort of theme as explored in fucking No Way Home. Peter's Flower told these villains, they return to their dimension, they're going to die, but it has to be that way. And he's like, no, fuck that. Like,
Yeah, I don't think it does.
These are people. Like, I don't want to do that. So yeah, I like it. It doesn't. I think there'd be a lot of Spider-Men that would be like, I don't know about that one, Chief. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, and I think because I think I can sympathize with some people because for a lot of them, their favorite Spider-Man is in the background of this, trying to help a person who's trying to kill people or not, trying to let people die.
I think the difference is though, or it's kind of implied that all of these Spider-Men have already gone through their canon events.
Yeah.
So it's kind of easier for them. I think Gwen is the only one. Well, she's lost Peter, but she hasn't lost Captain Stacy. So I think she'd be the only one who necessarily hasn't. But yeah, I think for a lot of them, it would be easier rather than to face the fact that this is something you're going to have to do and just stand by and do nothing.
It's the incels, man. It's a strength in a loud minority.
Yeah.
The last thing and have you got many other notes?
Well, I have no notes.
Oh, okay. You're winging it. Love it. Well, the last thing that I kind of had to speak about or wanted to speak about was the. I think we have a contender for a best score on our hands.
Score or soundtrack?
I think the strength of Into the Spider-Verse was its soundtrack.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think the strength of this is the score.
I'm going to listen to the score.
The score, well, not, but like let's not necessarily like sit down and listen to it. I do think there's bangers in there, but like you can't. We spoke about the Interstellar score recently, and you can do some work and get some productive shit done to that. In this, I would be jumping out my skin every 5 seconds because it's. Remember when the Batman came out and there was a bunch of TikToks like when you drop gum in Gotham City, and then it was just the Batman light and it went dun 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 dun, and it was.
And then you're
Batman
in hospital for 6 weeks.
Yeah, and it's a POV of Batman just viciously beating the shit out of you.
Yeah,
I've seen that started to be recreated with Miguel O'Hara. It's like when you did a fart that like wasn't the right pitch and broke the canon event or something, and then like the lift doors open and it went weird, and it's like Miguel O'Hara just there to kill you.
Yeah, that was fun.
But no, I think that just the way it works in the movie, in the cinema, I think will be a totally different experience to it being like at home. Like the music in the movie like fucking takes over in certain points, and there's just like I'm not even just talking about the big Miguel moments. I'm talking about like little things like Gwen and Miles swinging through the city. Oh, excuse me, Gwen and Miles swinging through the city.
Is that not a soundtrack though?
No. It's the score. A lot of it's original score. Daniel Pemberton, I think his name is. Metro! Just to save you. This is soundtrack.
Yeah, I know. I did see a meme that was like just peacefully trying to listen to the Spider-Man soundtrack, and then out of nowhere, Metro!
Yeah. My favourite part in the soundtrack is when Lil Wayne does a verse, and then he just, at the end of it, just goes, Spider-Verse. I just think the music is really good.
To be honest, I'll have to listen to the score, because I've listened to the soundtrack a bit. It's good. I don't think it's as good as the first soundtrack, necessarily.
No, I don't think the soundtrack is as good, no.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good.
I think it's lacking a What's Up Danger moment.
Yeah.
And one of them.
Oh, I love that What's Up Danger. I watched it again this morning. It's
such a fucking good scene.
So what I love most about that scene is not the moment itself. It's just the whole What's Up moment happens, and then just the final note of Miles's comic book just landing on the pile. So good. Just a great fucking burn.
It's the animated movie equivalent of a mic drop.
It is, yeah.
It's like he's here.
It is, yeah.
Bang.
He's one of the he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So
I fucking love that. Should we talk very briefly, and then because we'll wrap up fairly soon. There's a cliffhanger. Miles is in a world without Spider-Man.
The twist.
Yeah.
And it is a twist, and it fucking blew my mind.
Yeah.
It caught me so off guard, man. Like, when Miles goes back to his universe, in quotation marks, and he's talking to his mum, and and Gwen's outside listening in, and then he has the big fucking build up. Well, first of all, he's got to get home, but also Miguel and everyone are out looking for him, and he's got to do espionage, and Ben Reilly's there doing his perfect pose and all this sort of stuff. All very good, all just great tension throughout that. But yeah, then he's talking to his mum. He tells her he's Spider-Man, and she's just like, "The fuck are you on about, Miles? What is this? What are you doing? Is this a joke?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What's this? This is weird. You know who Spider-Man is. You saw the news, like when he died. Like, you know this." And then it just kept on going. I was like, "What's this? What's good?" And then Aaron walks in. And I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" And
he was
and
like, "Here's your illegal money."
Yeah, and just
like,
the slow reveal of like this being in another universe, but not even that. Then I was like, "Oh, but Gwen's here. Gwen will get him out of there or something. Gwen will save the day." And then it pulled back, and I was like, "Oh fuck, she's in a different universe. She's in his universe."
Yeah.
I didn't even figure that out at first. Then, oh, it was so good. It was such a good twist.
The way they built that sequence, like you're believing that Gwen is listening into every word.
Yeah.
And also, like, I also think that speaks to like a fucking. I know where Gwen's story does end up, but I think it adds to Gwen's arc of like Gwen experiencing what is essentially someone coming out or revealing themselves to their parents.
Yeah.
And like you think you get as an audience member, you have a hopeful moment of like that's going to encourage her to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And then like, no, that's not happening. Like, and it's almost like Gwen wishes that she knew someone with that secret that could help her go through this.
Gwen did come out.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So I think she goes back and does it after that. Is that right?
She goes back to see her dad, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "I left the Force." So like her canon event isn't necessarily set in stone now. Again, another like theory of maybe it's not as clear
Maybe
cut.
it's all bollocks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, not bollocks. Bollocks implies it's a lie. We just think it's something completely different.
Yeah.
And yeah, Miguel's read into it too much and thinks he understands shit that he doesn't.
So the Prowler's so Aaron's there, but
Yeah.
also this Miles is there from this universe.
Yes.
And Miles is the Prowler in this universe because he never got to be Spider-Man.
You see all the shit about his colours in the first one?
Yeah, very well done, because I was watching some of the... I didn't watch it all, but I was just like kind of like skipping through the first one this morning, just like some big moments and shit. And it's so good. Something I never even fucking picked up on a movie that came out 5 years ago. But it makes... Now with the context of this, it makes so much sense. The spider glitches.
Yeah.
The spider that bites fucking Miles, it glitches. But like at no point in the past 5 years have I ever questioned that.
Because it's like a bombastic visual movie.
Exactly.
It just blends into the other bombastic visual shit going on.
Yeah. But it glitches because it's from another universe. Like that movie explicitly tells us happens several times. But yeah, never even put that together. Yeah, there's the moment when like Chris Pine, Spider-Man, and Miles like sense each other, and his colors they're the Prowler's colors, and then they slowly morph into the red and blue as well. So that's interesting.
Like he's changed the fate kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I love the way it ended, like he's tied up like Peter was in the first one. Yeah. And you know, Peter's like, "You don't watch the mouth, watch the hands." And Miles is like his hands behind the thing. He's doing the venom tap, getting ready to break out. But yeah,
and the team have assembled. The team.
Gwen has assembled the team. So who we got? We got Gwen. We got
Peter B. Parker.
We got Peter B. Parker. We got Mayday, as well. Yeah. Mayday's great.
I fucking the bit where he brings her home and she's like, "You didn't take our baby out on a mission." He's like, "I didn't, because you asked me to stop doing that, so I didn't do that."
Yeah. I love how much Peter just loves being a dad, man. It's so cute. Like while they're having the chase, like they're all chasing Miles, but he's just running with his phone trying to show Miguel pictures. It's so fun. But yeah, no, I love the moment as well where like Gwen shows up in Peter's universe, and then Mayday pulls her little hat down, her little Spider-Man hat, like she's ready to go as well.
She's on the mission.
Yeah. And I think he even says to her, "Don't tell Mom," or something.
It's to something of that effect. Yeah.
So who else we got? So we got Gwen, we got Peter, we got Mayday, we got the original team back. So we got Penny and her new robot. We've got Spider-Man Noir, Nick Cage, who didn't say a thing.
Are you an anime head? Do you know about anime stuff?
I know some. I'm not. I've seen 2 anime.
Okay, so
I know a little bit about anime.
That's 2 more than me. Penny has a different art style in this that is apparently more weeb appropriate. A lot of people have been saying.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
No.
I'm happy for you guys.
Okay.
And if it's bad, that sucks.
That's right. It was good to me.
I think she looks fine, yeah. She looks sad.
She did.
Was Noir there?
Yes, Noir was there. Nick Cage didn't have a single line in this movie, though, I don't think. Neither did John Mulaney.
Travesty.
Interesting. So maybe hadn't recorded yet, I don't know. But yeah, John Mulaney was there as... Just John Mulaney was there.
And I'm here too.
Peter Porker was there. Who else was there? Oh, there was Margot, who was the girl with the hologram who liked to help Miles escape.
Yes, yeah.
She was there as well, and I think that's it. Maybe.
Was Hobie not there?
Hobie was there. Sorry, yeah, because Hobie made he was stealing the parts, wasn't he?
Like a sneaky boy.
Yeah.
Very excited to see what happens next. All right, are you done on this movie?
Yeah, it's good. Can't wait for part 2.
A new thing we're doing in this podcast is a segment that is less insane than our other segments have been, and this one we hope to keep going for longer than our other segments have been going as well. Nathan and I, at the end of every episode, are just doing a little recommendation to you, something that we've checked out that week. Could be literally anything. So yeah, last week Nathan suggested a series of like fun video essays about, well, not all of them about the same thing, but one of them was about a TikTok, about how TikTok is like, the music industry is being like geared towards TikToks. And I shilled for Billionaires and said HBO's Succession, that you should watch that. Nathan, recommend me, baby.
So I actually didn't watch it this week. I actually watched it like a few months ago, but
That's okay. I don't mind.
like a few weeks ago. But it like kind of ties in to this week's episode anyway. And I'm still working on like a recommendation I have coming up.
Oh,
like,
you're working on it.
Well, like I'm watching stuff for it. Like,
oh, I see.
I'm not done with it yet. So I'm actually gonna recommend John Mulaney's latest comedy special.
How is that? I did want to see that.
So yeah, it's available on Netflix. It's very different to some of his previous specials because, like, I don't know if you're aware, but John Mulaney had like kind of a very public just breakdown essentially. Like he was being very open about like he and his wife got divorced. He was on cocaine for a lot of the past few years. And he was in rehab as well, and his life fell apart, and he like slowly had to like put it all back together. And this whole special is him just like kind of talking about that experience and just talking about, you know, being on cocaine and having his friends arrange an intervention for him and being in rehab as well. And it's hilarious, but it's also very fun and very, very thought provoking and stuff. So yeah, it's a really good special. I'd really recommend it.
It's like it's especially hard, I think, for when comedians have that kind of public thing, or that level of thing. Like I remember years and years ago. Obviously, I don't agree with it, and I think in himself, I think the guy's a bit of a wanker anyway. But there was remember, like I think it was 8 out of 10 Cats that Jimmy Carr hosted.
Oh yeah.
And they had a segment every week where they wrapped up the news, and then news came out that he'd been avoiding paying his taxes. And the humbling week he had to come out and go, "What's in the news this week? Me avoiding my taxes." And then basically everyone just ripped into him for almost the whole episode.
Yeah.
About him being like a gross fucking money hoarder and everything. Yeah, very fun. That sounds cool though. Apparently there's a joke in the John Mulaney thing about him, like the kids prefer Bo Burnham these days or something.
There is, yeah. Yeah, there is. But it is a very fun special. Yeah, we should definitely watch it. Like, it gets kind of uncomfortable at times.
Okay,
But no, it's very funny. It's quite light-hearted though as well. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
My recommendation is an artist. I've tried to go so far away from just Billionaires and watch this show by a fucking huge corporation.
An artist? What do you mean, like a musical artist or like?
No, like an artist.
Okay.
I've been in the process of trying to breathe a bit more. I don't work at my office. You made a joke about this in your best man speech to me.
Yeah.
I have a home office and I don't use it.
You're using it right now.
I'm using it right now, but that was previously. There were 2 hours of a week where I recorded 2 podcasts, and that was the only time I was in my office.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm trying to spruce up my office a little bit and make it more of a pleasant, bright space to be in, rather than this is where I go to slave over work for 8 hours and then leave.
All right, but you don't do that either.
No, but I'm trying. I'm trying to make it a fun place to spend time in, and it's working to a degree. I've got a new plug socket set up.
Ooh.
No, this one clamps to the desk. It's good. That's my recommendation. Clamped plug sockets. No, there's an artist who I've been kind of looking into her work. She's called Ping Zhu. She had a mini documentary made about her.
Is she on Instagram, Etsy?
It is Ping, how you'd think it would be spelt, and then Zhu, ZHU.
Yeah.
But I think on Instagram it's ZOO.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, cool.
Oh, she's followed by my tattoo artist.
Oh, there you go. Inspirational round. But no, she's had a mini documentary made about her, like a little 4-minute YouTube documentary. And she, like, although she has no ill will towards like computer generated imagery and digital graphic design, she has this really unique art style of like a lot of watercolor paints, but also like handcrafted, like cut out segments. Like a lot of the time she'll create this kind of not absurd, more like abstract painting piece of like, if she wants something to stand out, it will be card on a watercolor paint. And she does a lot of work for New Yorker. A lot of how I came across her was she did she had this really interesting piece that was on the Banshees of Inisherin. And it was just like a really simple image of like two men across a hill on different sides of it. Really interesting, like emotional art, a lot of it. She has a really interesting piece about the abandonment of a lot of like Chinese children. And it's lovely and it's really nice. And I've been looking I don't think she has an online shop. If she does, I'll have a little look again and link it below. But the reason I kind of got down a rabbit hole of looking at her stuff is I was trying to find an online shop because I wanted to buy a piece of her work to put in the office. But yeah, all around, just really interesting art. And I think she's very talented and very cool.
She's got like Animal Crossing designs.
Yeah, like that, but that's what I'm saying. She does a lot of work for the New Yorker movie review section, but she's in no way limited. She'll make a piece that will like break your heart about Chinese children being abandoned, and then all of a sudden it's like Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
I just think she's really, really cool. Really cool. Links for both of our recommendations are below. And Nathan, I don't know if you know this, so this might be an exclusive. We might get Nathan's live on air reaction to this.
I know that it's too damn fucking hot.
It is certainly too damn hot. But the thing I want your live reaction to is the fact that we have another podcast. Hello and welcome.
Yes, we do, Lawrence. It's called Still Got Legs. It's available every Monday at 10 a.m. wherever you get your podcast. It's all about Doctor Who, the weird, wonderful, and wacky little British sci-fi show that we love very dearly. We're coming to the end of season 2 in our discussion of the episodes, so follow along. This week actually it's the big one, the one we have been waiting for.
Arguably the reason we started the podcast is coming up.
Yes. I don't know if I should say what it is, but maybe just go over and find out. Just go have a listen. And
It'll be out by now, won't it? No,
it'll be out the coming Monday. So it's Friday now when this comes out.
Okay.
So it comes out the following Monday. So unless you're listening after Monday, then sure, it's out. Look, Lawrence, people can also rate and review this show.
Wow, I didn't know this. And, well, I did, and I'm going to tell them how.
Okay.
It's so hot, man. I'm dripping. I'm actually dripping sweat. I have to have the window shut in here as well while we record.
Yeah, I have to shut all my windows when we record. It's the fucking worst part, man.
Well, I started this in a shirt. I'm now just in a vest. Nathan is naked.
I'm shirtless.
Yeah, well, I can't see his bottoms, so
I'm
naked
wearing
in my
jeans.
eyes. Well, you can't see my bottoms either, so I could just be in a vest and otherwise naked.
Just Winnie the Pooh in it.
Yeah, you can rate and review this podcast. Most podcast platforms, hosting platforms, will have a little review section that you can go and press 5 stars on. That'd be great. We really appreciate it. It helps. I presume it helps spread the work. I presume it does something that's good for this show. Couldn't tell you what though. You can also give us a little follow. We are on Twitter at Another Happy Pod, and you can hear us. You can see us tweet about stuff. And then new episodes out every Friday at 10 a.m. You'll get a little post. A little post will be posted, and you will go, wow, that's a post that reminds me I should go check out this show. and it will provide you the links to do so.
Hello, it's Lawrence. I'm editing the podcast now, and I forgot to say that next week we're going to be doing this.
How many lasses were there, though?
Thousands. It's worth a thought, though, isn't it?
But these men...
I don't see why not, Gerald.
Because you're fat and he's thin, and you're both ugly.
It's hot. Go have an ice cream, everyone.
All right.
And have a good time. And Nathan will press the button at some point, I'm
I'll
assuming.
press a button.
Oh, that's good.
I still hear your voice when you
Did you have this
sit
ready?
next
Yeah.
to me. I still
For what?
feel your touch
For this.
in my dreams.
Playing us out with a summer banger.
Okay, fair enough.
Forgive
The hit
me,
of
my
2004.
weakness, but
We really need to find out
I
when copyright
don't
stands
know
on all this
why.
shit.
Without you, it's hard to survive.